Welcome to Man on a Mission, where we talk about having a positive mindset, which will help you improve your physical and mental health, your relationships, and your business and career. Men's health, which consists of having a healthy lifestyle, wealth management, getting that financial house in order, podcast, getting the message out, and most important, everyday life. I'm your host, Milton Kraft. Let's get on this mission.
If we're all honest, we all want to build some sort of wealth in this lifetime. We want enough money and financial stability to at least do some of the things that we want in this lifetime. We may want to travel the world for a year, buy a boat, who knows, whatever it is. Whatever it is that you dream of doing with your money, what we have to figure out is how do we get there? Today I want to talk about what does building wealth look like to you? Hey everybody, this is Milton, Man on a Mission. Thank you for joining me again today. So today I'm going to be talking about what does building wealth look like to you? What does building wealth look like to you? You know, for some people it's that big house, it's the cars, the clothes, all the luxuries that life has to offer. For some people it's just simply inheriting money from their family and friends that they can do whatever they want to do with it. And for some, more like me, it's that farm, owning your own land, growing your own food, being able to get up and milk your cows and feed your chickens and take care of yourself without having to worry about somebody else having to support you. So the thing is, no matter which direction that you take, Eric B. and Rakim said you have to have a master plan. When they did the song Paid in Full, the first thing they said was thinking of a master plan. So what is your master plan when it comes to building wealth? You know, you have to come up with some type of plan to get you from point A to point B as far as when it comes to building wealth. Because if you don't have a plan, there's no way that you're going to figure out which direction to go in order to gain that wealth. Now, growing up, we used to get some tough advice when it came to money. Some of it may have seemed negative at the time. You get the thing of the love of money is the root of all evil. Go to work and just save your money, hide some money for a rainy day. Yeah, we understood what those things meant, but at the time, you thought when you heard the term, the love of money is the root of all evil, that there may be something negative when it comes to money. You have to be very careful not to interpret that as you're making money more important than anything in your life. So yeah, we were young and we really didn't understand. But the conversation about building wealth was never at the forefront of our conversations in the home. What to do with this money to help you build wealth for yourself and for your family. So that's what we're going to dig a little deeper into today. What does building wealth look like to you? Growing up, many of us were not exposed to the conversation of even buying stocks. The only form of trying to build wealth was just having a savings account and working hard every day. Now let's be honest. Discrimination and inequality were the leaders of poverty for blacks back then. We didn't, or I'll say I didn't grow up in a family where my grandparents and parents were able to talk about the market because they were constantly being discriminated against because of the number of housing programs that were not helpful to blacks. But now we have the opportunity to learn to share the knowledge with our families and friends. So now we must take advantage of these opportunities that are available for all of us to have the chance to gain and grow and build wealth. So the big question is, how do we do it? How do we build this wealth? I think there are just a few things that we can need to do in order to build wealth. I think there are three things that are at the top of my list when I think it comes to building wealth. The first is make more money. The second is save more money. And the third is invest more money. Yeah, I know you heard these three things and you said, man, I hear this all the time. These are the same things that people tell me all the time. But the problem is people really don't understand what that means. What it means to make more money, what it means to save more money, what it means to invest more money. I mean, do you know what that means? There's some data from the Federal Reserve that says 39% of Americans don't even have enough money on hand to cover a $400 emergency. Not $4,000, $400. That could mean the tires on the car go out. That could mean the stove went out. That could mean there's something wrong with the air conditioner. But 39% of Americans in this country do not have the money to cover that. They don't have the wealth to cover that. It's reported that every adult should have enough money in savings to cover a minimum of 3 months of their living expenses. We know that's not true because people are hand to mouth right now. They don't have enough money just to make it each week. So how do you have enough money to save for 3 months of living? So you look at some more statistics. It says, what is the average percent of Americans that have a savings account? And it said that 71% of Americans have a savings account. But how much money is in that savings account? Most Americans, 21%, have at least $1,000 in their savings account. Now, what is $1,000 going to do when you run into a pinch or when you run into a crisis where you need money to take care of something that's going on? So saving money, building money, and investing money is very important to the success of families here in America. We have to figure out, what does building wealth look like to us? So let's get started. The first thing we need to do is to make money. Make money. Making money is something that we all need to do, and there are a number of ways that we can make this happen. So what does it mean when we say to make money? That's really earnings coming from some work or service that you've done to help you pay for the things that you want and need. Now, for me, money is not everything, but in this society, it is needed. It helps people with their basic needs: food, water, shelter, and clothing. Yet it helps support a lot of families' goals and dreams. Taking care of the health care, putting their kids through school. It's just basically planning for the future. Making money is just simply a reward for a service or action that you've done and you receive. Now, there were two psychologists by the name of John French and Bertrand Raven in 1959. They wrote this article about power, and they said power is divided into 5 distinct forms. That's coercive, reward, legitimate, referent, and expert. Now, what I'm talking about today with money, we're going to look at the reward power. Now, reward power is the ability to give other people what they want and ask them to do something for it in exchange. That's basically going to work, providing a service, and people will pay you to do that. And that's the way the American system is set up. That you work, you get a reward. So reward power is something that this society is set up on, where you go in, you work your 8, 10, 12, 15, 20, 30 hours, and you get a reward, which is a payment. So the question that comes back then, again, is how do we make money? I think there are a few things that we can do to make money. 1, you can work for someone else. 2, you can create your own business. 3, start a number of side hustles. 4, increase your knowledge to start a better business or to get a higher paying job. I believe that people need to, when it comes to how do you make your money, you need to try to do things that you're passionate about. You need to do something that you're going to put your time and energy and effort into to make you successful. Now, that may be for some working for someone, where you go to work, you work for a company, and you give them your all. Now, for me, I don't think that's a way to totally get rich and to build wealth, working for someone else. But the second thing I said is you can create your own business. I think when you create your own business, you learn and understand the importance of what it takes to be successful, because you're going to fall into your passion, into your goals, into your dreams, and you're going to dig down and you're going to find the resources and the knowledge that you need to make that business successful. You're going to pour into it everything that you need and you want, because that's what you want to see. You want to see your business flourish. You want to see your business grow. You want to see the success come out of something that you planted your seed, your time, and your energy into. Now, a lot of people like to do what's called side hustles. They like to have a job, and then they like to do little things on the side, selling candy or selling perfume or making things on the side, hobby things that they've turned into something that they can make money off of. That's great, because what you're doing, you're teaching yourself that the hobbies and the passions that you have are very important, and they can be very lucrative for you if you continue to change your mindset and put the right focus on what you're doing. And the last thing was increase your knowledge to start a better business or to get a high-paying job. One thing that people always want to overlook with anything is you have to gain the knowledge and the skills to do anything. A lot of people like to just jump into things and just go out and say, "Oh, I can do this. I'm passionate about it. I can do it." You probably are very passionate about it, and you're probably very good at it. At some point, you need to better yourself. You need to get that education and that training to help you excel in whatever it is you're choosing to do. There's nothing wrong with getting more knowledge and understanding of what you're doing. So don't be afraid to do that. Don't be afraid to go out and take that extra class, sow that extra seed into a class or workshop or something where you can get the knowledge to make your business successful, because you are the person that drives that business. You're the person that's going to put that energy into it to make that money in order to do what you want to do and what you want to achieve in this life. It's up to you to do it. The next thing when it comes to building wealth I think is important is saving money. Saving money is not something that we all like to talk about, but saving money is not always easy, because many families have every dollar that they make allocated to pay for something, or goes into something, or you have to lend it to somebody, or you have to let somebody borrow some money, and that leaves you no room to save. I believe that when it comes to saving, there are some simple questions that we need to ask ourselves in order to align our thoughts and our actions to help us to begin learning to save. And the first is do you have a budget? Do you have a budget for what you're doing? And second is, do you have an emergency fund? That's money saved and put aside. And third, which is most important, are you living within or below your means? Number one, do you have a budget? Two, do you have an emergency fund? And three, are you living within or below your means? Now, when I grew up, we were always taught about saving money. We were always taught at a young age that saving money is important because you never know when you're going to have something to come up. So today we call that what? An emergency fund, because savings is very important. Now, many families don't have that emergency fund, and they don't have that cash set aside in a savings account. They don't have that cash set up in the closet, under the mattress, under the bed somewhere where they can go and get it when they need it, because they haven't had enough time to plan. They have so many things going on where their money, like I said earlier, is allocated to everybody but themselves. So you have to begin by talking about budgets, and that's just having the accountability when it comes to your money. You have to be accountable for your money, and a lot of people are not accountable for their money. There's no accountability. They don't know how much money is coming in. They don't know how much money is going out. They don't know who's taking their money. They don't know anything about how their money is working and being used. So you have to begin by knowing what you have. So the first step, I think, to saving money is to figure out how much money you spend each month, each week, each day. You have to learn how to keep track of your expenses. Everything that you do, you need to create a spreadsheet or take a pencil, piece of paper, and write down those transactions of how much money you have, how much you're spending. So then you can next have an idea of what you spend each month. Then you can organize and strategize on what you're doing each month. You can see how the money's coming in, you can see what the money's being spent on, and then you can make adjustments accordingly based on what you need to do in order to have enough money to make it through the month. Now, one thing that a lot of people run into is you got more expenses than you have money. So then what do you do when you have more expenses than you have money? When you have more expenses than you have money, then it's very simple. Something has to change. You've got to cut out some of the expenses that you have. You may have to cut out that extra coffee once a week. You may have to cut out that lunch twice a week. You may have to cut out going shopping twice a week. Whatever you need to do in order to stay balanced, you got to figure that out. You got to start now setting some goals, putting some goals in place of things that you need to achieve in order for you to start saving money. Because if you're constantly spending money, there's nothing to save. So creating a budget and being accountable for your expenses is very important. Now, this all sounds very simple, but there are millions and millions of people who still do not know how to do these simple things when it comes to saving money. So the final way I think to build wealth is investing. Investing your money. So once you've set aside a monthly goal and the money that you're able to save, things that you're able to, you paid all your expenses, you're up, your balance is great, you have a little money set to the side, I think now it's time to invest. Now, when you invest money, it gives you more money in a return. Now, there are a lot of ways to invest money: the stock market, real estate, retirement accounts like your 401k, your Roth IRA, and even a startup business. Now, when I grew up, we didn't talk about investing a lot. The only investing that we talked about was investing in that savings account. But today, a lot of people are talking about investing. It's really important. So if you start with the stock market, you can begin by buying just a few simple stocks. They've got all these programs out here like Robinhood now where you can start with just $1 to buy a stock, buying shares in a company and being a shareholder. A lot of people always say, "Oh, I love those shoes. I love that purse." But you can be an owner of those possessions by simply purchasing stock. But sometimes we don't talk about that. We're so excited about buying things that we never look at the idea of being an owner of those things. So when they sell, we can make money as well. Financial guru Stacy Tyndall says that investing has changed for everyone. She says that 34% of blacks participate in investing in stocks compared to 61% of whites who invest in stocks. Now, she said she believes that it's time now for the investing revolution to begin, that it's time for things to change for the landscape of investing. She said this new revolution looks like 60% of blacks under 40 investing. 30% of all investments are in stocks, and 20% of blacks are now investing in cryptocurrency. So there are a number of ways to do this. It's not the same way it used to be back in the day where you had to buy a stock. You've got crypto now. You've got different things that you can do to invest your money. So don't be caught up in saying, I don't know the stock market, so I can't really get out and do it. You may not know the stock market, but there are other things that you can do, like I said, crypto and different things that you can do to learn how to invest your money. So that goes back to what I talked about earlier. Get the knowledge you need to make yourself successful. One of the simplest, I think, investments, and one that I enjoy, is real estate. And real estate is something that we all need. Everybody needs a place to stay. Everybody needs a place to lay their head. Everybody needs a place to call home. So investing in real estate is something that is one of the necessities of life that people need. When we get ready to invest in real estate, we need to look at all of the available programs, opportunities that are available for you to invest. There's always a way to invest in real estate where you either go in with someone, you either get a small loan from a bank, or you do something. But I think one of the simplest ways that people overlook is what's called owner financing, where the owner of that property will finance the loan for you, and you'll just pay them directly. And that gives you a chance to build some wealth, to make some money, to save some money, and to reinvest some money. And for those who may have credit that's not so great, may not have a lot of money in the bank, owner financing is a great way to go, because you don't have to put up a lot of upfront money. So the money you make can go back into the property, and it can also go back into you saving and making more money for yourself, so you can continue to grow as you build this business. So before you know it, in a year or two, you may have enough money to do a second purchase of another property. And just think about it. If you continue to set the goals to buy properties on a regular every 3 or 4 years, before you know it, you've got 5 to 6 properties, and making money for yourself that you can save and to continue to invest. So don't overlook real estate as a great form of investing. I know a lot of people who work for companies like what's called the 401k programs, where you set aside money for your retirement, and companies will automatically match it. And depending on what company you're with, some of them are up to 100%. So that's a good way of saving money without having to touch your money. So the money's automatically set aside, and they automatically match it. So you're constantly building money over here on the side without having to do a lot of work and a lot of concern. It's just some people just don't take the time, even with that, to learn more about how a 401k program works. How some of them you can have some say in how your money is invested and how things are done when it comes to your money. So just be considerate of that you learn more about how the 401k program works. Now, I'm not saying it's a bad program. It's a great program. if you're with the right company and they match at a level where you can see some great benefits and returns from it. Now, the final thing I say is it's called the Roth IRA. Now, some companies don't offer a 401k plan. So a Roth IRA is a perfect option for that if they don't offer that, because it's a retirement account that allows you to have tax-free withdrawals as long as you meet certain conditions. So consider a Roth IRA when it comes to investing, because like I said, some companies don't offer that IRA. So you can look at that 401k. So you can look at that Roth IRA and learn different things from without having to worry about doing a 401k, because the best thing about the Roth is that you fund after tax dollars. So it's very important to learn more about it, and it's free. Like I say, it's free tax-free withdrawals. A lot of people get into financial binds sometime in their lives, and they have to make withdrawals. So sometimes it's very hard to make a withdrawal from that 401k versus making that withdrawal from your personal IRA. So I think those are three very important things when it comes to investing. You can look at stocks, well, four important things: stocks, real estate, 401k, and IRA plans. Those are very good when it comes to investing your money. So the final take is this: building wealth is not a rocket science. It's a process. It takes dedication and discipline to grow wealth. It's not something that you can snap your finger and make it happen. And I said three things today that you can do to help with that wealth journey are make more money, save more money, invest more money. But the journey begins when you begin the journey. And it's important when you begin that journey that you equip yourself emotionally, financially, educationally, so that you're able to take the steps that are needed in order to catapult you through the steps of building wealth. We want to get hung up on the simple things, but let's not do that. Let's take these little steps that I've taught you today and just put them into action. Change your mindset, change your thinking process, change the way you approach things, and then look at it from that angle, and you'll see that you have more to offer than you think. Don't be stuck in something that you learned years ago, something that you saw in the past. And don't ever use the words what you can't do, because you can do anything as long as you change your mindset and focus on doing it. So let's begin by building this wealth and answering the question, what does wealth look like to you? You and only you can answer that. So I hope these things today have given you a little insight and help on how to do that. Hey, I want to thank everybody for joining me here today at Man on a Mission with this great discussion on what does building wealth look like to you. I hope this information is very helpful and helps you to get started on that journey of building that wealth for yourself and for your family. Talk to you next time here at Man on a Mission.